What does it take to get beyond the damage of words? I'm Katrina Collier. Join me each week as I explore what it takes to step into a happier future. My guests are sharing their stories of when they realised that they needed help and what it took to take that first step, so that you leave inspired and maybe even start on your own path to self-love, care, compassion, and of course happiness. So without further ado, let's hear their stories. Issac Harvey, welcome to Beyond the Damage of Words podcast. I was so going to say with MBE, but it was just too many words. See, I can't do this.
Nice word.
We met, if memory serves, it was at the Personio conference, and then I randomly ran into you on the South Bank, and then I've stalked you on LinkedIn. But it's good to have you here. Welcome, welcome.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. So the reason I got in touch with you is because I saw your post where you were talking about being given counselling at school and that you never really understood why. Did you ever
Yes,
get to
yeah.
the bottom of the why?
Yeah, I did after transitioning through, having the mental health journey and really understanding about my own well-being and self. That's when I
Mm.
kind of understood it. But at the time, it wasn't really explained why it was happening. But the school saw something in me that I didn't. And because it wasn't really, because I didn't really understand it, because in her post it said this random lady and they want me to share my thoughts with her. And it didn't really make sense why I was doing that. So,
Yeah. I love the person who wrote the comment was, I was one of those random ladies. Just really made me laugh.
yeah, actually, that was funny.
She's like, yeah, that's me, one of those school counsellors. But did you feel kind of singled out? Like, what's it like as someone who is disabled and is young and is at school and it's just being at school's awful at any time. So did you feel kind of singled out?
Yeah, I mean, I did feel um, definitely singled out and different in many different aspects, and kind of these barriers I was putting on myself. For example, my friends would be in relationships, and I wouldn't be in a relationship. When you're feeling down like that, you feel like you're the only one who's down like it, so you don't really
Yeah.
want to speak very openly about it. Well, they gave me the opportunity to do so, and I didn't. But
Well, that's because it was a random lady.
yeah, exactly. I don't speak to random ladies, so
That's so not true, by the way. So not true. You
yeah,
just wheeled on in and spoke to me.
yeah, exactly.
To be fair, I was at the front of the room where I was supposed to be, though. Yeah, no.
That's
But yeah, I mean, it's like that's such a big ask. I mean, I think that's a big ask of anybody. This is in your teens, wasn't it?
yes, yeah. This was probably
It's
in during sixth form.
Yeah, it was so awkward at that time. Who wants to talk about emotions and dating and awkward. So you said you had a mental health journey. Tell me more about that. What did that entail?
Sure. So let's go from the beginning, I guess. So, but I'll make sure I keep it short because there's a lot to the
That's cool.
story.
We've got 30 minutes.
I think it's
With 27 left, you can do it.
okay, I better do it short then. Yeah,
Really?
so
Longer than 27 minutes? When?
depends how much detail you want me to say. Um,
As much as you're comfortable.
yeah, so as I mentioned about relationships and when I left school, I kind of was like fed up of school.
Mhm.
After just doing the scheduled classes and things, and I've always had a creative mind. So when I
Yeah.
left school, I said to myself, I'm not doing a 9 to 5. I've got to do my own thing. So I left school and started doing video creation and filming my adventures like skiing, skydiving, tall ship sailing, roller skating, all these different things that I would be.
Wow.
Yeah, just.
I haven't seen all of those. I've only seen a couple of those floating around on the social media. It's
Oh,
so
right,
good.
okay. Yeah, my history goes back a while. I did a lot, but
That's amazing.
so I'd film these videos, and I'd do it because I just enjoyed making these videos.
Mm.
And as I was making these videos, friends and family kept saying to me, "Oh, you should really talk about disability because you could really help people's perspectives and change people's minds and things." And I thought, oh, why do I have to do that for? That doesn't really make any sense. I like making videos. Why do I need to talk about disability? So I kind of ignored my friends and family, and they kept
Is
telling me
is
that
that because this is how you were born, so you haven't known life differently?
I have known life differently in the aspect of, not being able to use public transport. Because I remember when I was younger,
Okay.
there were steps onto the bus, so I couldn't even get onto the bus.
Oh
Train
god, yeah.
stations weren't as accessible as they are
Mm,
now. So, yeah, it definitely did feel different. But because of the people around me, they didn't really treat me any differently. So I kind of had the mindset of
yeah.
finding it easier to overcome obstacles when
Yeah.
it came to my disability. So I did have that help me. Um, so that's why whenever I found out things that could be done with a disability, I thought, oh yeah, sure, why not? And then everyone would
Mm,
encourage me to do that rather than saying, oh no, you can't do this and you can't do that. So that really helped. So, and it was one of those things where it helped me get up every morning. Some days I just thought, oh, I can't be bothered to do things today, but my disability has always been my biggest strength. But I didn't realize that as I was going through this mental health journey.
mm,
Um, so yeah, so I did the video creation, and I loved doing that, and I was given a opportunity to do a public speaking engagement
mhm,
talking about disability and overcoming obstacles. And I thought, okay, sure, I'll just do that. And then I spoke about the different obstacles that I've just mentioned and
yeah,
how I still have a very fulfilling life. And the audience really liked what I had to say, and they
mm.
gave me a standing ovation. And I remember uh, at the end, another random lady came, I meet a lot of these random ladies, by the way.
Yeah, there are lots of random ladies around, to be fair.
She came up to me afterwards, and she said, I get a lot of pains in my legs, and I'm always
Mm,
complaining about life. But after hearing your story, it's changed my perspective on things, and I'm gonna
mm,
see life a lot differently. And that's when the first time I saw the impact I was making talking about disability. So I started implementing that into my videos and
mm,
sharing more from a disability perspective, and people were learning things from it. But yeah, I was continuing to do that, and then I was given an opportunity to do a vlogging workshop. Um, to cut a long story short, it was a competition, and I ended up winning that competition in 2017. And in school, as I mentioned, so I wanted to always do my own thing, and YouTube was one of those things where I really wanted to be successful in it.
mm.
So I won this award, and since it was partnershiped with YouTube and the Evening Standard things,
Oh, amazing.
once I'd won, I was in newspapers, I was on the television, so I was on This Morning, um, and a few other channels. And I thought, okay, this is the big break now. I'm going to get a
Mhm.
million subscribers. I'm going to have loads of followers, loads of money, and things like that.
Did that
Um,
happen?
well, it didn't happen. Um, it did happen. Yeah, yeah. But I let the engagement get to me, and for
Yeah.
what I loved doing turned into, oh, I'm not getting engagement now, and I kind of lost motivation for it. So there was that.
Is it that you sort of you had that, I mean, it's like the little notification endorphin thing, isn't it? But you had it on a bigger scale because suddenly you were on stages and on television and in the Evening Standard, like getting all this attention, but it wasn't following through to allowing you to do. How did that impact you? Was
Oh,
it
it was very.
you start feeling really low?
yeah, I mean, it was like I I was a bit conflicted because on one side I was I really enjoyed making content and showing what I do, but
Mm.
on the other, the engagement was getting to me, and I thought, oh, what's the point of me spending hours on these videos and not getting any
Yeah.
views? Because on YouTube, I think the most I would get was 100 views, and I would put a lot of time and effort into it. But I firstly did because I enjoyed it, but because of this big buzz, I thought, okay, this is the big time now. I got to make the
Yeah.
most of it. But it never really happened, and that really did affect me. And as I was saying, I've done all these really amazing things, but one of those things I didn't notice this was I thought to be successful, I needed to have a good career and be the star and things. So that happened. As that was happening, going back to the relationships, I thought to be unhappy in life, I needed to be in a relationship.
Hmm.
And because I saw my friends and again, wanting to be a celebrity or whatever influencer, seeing other A-list celebrities, they never really showed negative aspects in their life, and they showed all these relationships and how it's all this happy life. And
Yeah.
for
It's
me, I was
all a
like,
show reel. It's all
yeah, yeah.
all contrived.
So I looked at that and I thought, oh, I need to be like them. So I can't be happy otherwise. So that was happening, and then the third thing which happened was I was now seen as this inspirational, motivational figure, and I thought I can't talk about how honest I'm feeling because if I say how I'm feeling down today, who's going to take inspiration from that? So
Hmm.
all those three things came together, and it really got
When
me
was
to
this?
a
Was this still around 2017?
no. So this must have been I between 2018 and 2019,
Right.
around this time. So all of this kind of came to, oh well, so another thing I've got to mention. So I eventually did get a girlfriend
Hmm.
in 2018, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great, but internally I still wasn't happy, and I couldn't really
Hmm.
understand why I wasn't happy. So I finally got one of the things I've always wanted, and I still wasn't happy. And because I wasn't internally happy, I became quite selfish, and
Yeah.
what because I finally got what I wanted, and I needed to make it right. So I
Yeah.
became very selfish, and obviously being selfish in a relationship doesn't work out. So it didn't
No.
really last too long. Um, and then around a few months after, it got to a bit of a breaking point. All these things came together, and I thought, no, I really need to take a step back and learn why I'm feeling like this. And that's when
So what did you do when you got to that moment?
so it
When
kind
you
of
went,
was.
okay, because I've said so many times on this podcast, I realized something was up and then I didn't do anything. And I actually don't know what I didn't do. Like I look back and go, why didn't I do anything? But I didn't. And I want people to do something. So did you have a like a aha moment? You went, I just need to speak up or I need to do something. Like what happened?
So throughout the journey, there were multiple times where, like yourself, there was I would say I'll do something
Mm,
and then just fall back into the trap. And I thought I've just done something. I learned about it, and I'm still falling down to feeling down and sad and
yeah.
all those kind of things, internally not happy. Um, but what I realized was I wasn't actually making an actual step. I was just saying I'm doing. I only said I would make the change, but I wasn't actually doing the action. So yeah,
Oh,
I was just
words. Words, no follow through.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just talking, no action. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, pretty common.
so this breaking point situation, the first thing which popped into my head was, have you seen the film Lucy?
Mm,
S-
ages ago, yes, but, like,
Yeah,
ages ago. You have to refresh my memory.
yeah. So basically, it's a film about, I think Scarlett Johansson. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, it's Sandra Bullock, I think. I can't remember. One of those actors.
Well, I'm not Googling it in the middle of a podcast recording.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw Scarlett Johansson when you said that, but I saw it so long ago. I was doing the. Did I actually watch it or didn't I? Wasn't Harvey Keitel in it as well? Or am I now really waffling off onto the wrong tangent?
I have no idea. Um,
anyway, that
yeah,
movie.
yeah. So in that film, the main protagonist used more than 10% of her brain power, and
Yes.
for some reason that came into my head, and I thought it's such a weird thing. But I remember that film because I'd watch it
Mm.
maybe 2 3 years prior, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna search that. So I searched 10% of your brain onto YouTube, and that's where I came across a guy called Bob Proctor, and he was talking about the law of attraction and
Mm.
how we think, feel, and speak is the reality that we create. And
Yeah.
I was really fascinated by this.
It's a
So I
bit
really,
shocking when you first hear it, though, isn't it? You're like,
it was, yeah, I
really?
was,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Better stop that negative thinking then.
yeah. It was just like such a revelation, really. I was like, oh gosh, yeah, everything's put
yeah.
into perspective now.
Mm.
And I really took it upon myself to keep watching his videos, and then I came across the importance of meditation, something I
Mm.
used to mock when I was younger, because
Did it take you a while to meditate? It took me like several years to
yeah, I
be
think I'm
able
still
to
on that
meditate.
journey. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still on that journey because I was one of those people where people say, "Oh, meditation," and they breathe and they're all right. I was like, "How does that work?" That doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
But yeah, after
Have you heard, like, literally this was this morning. So by
yeah,
the time the podcast comes out, it was not on trend anymore, probably. But the thing is, it's apparently going down on TikTok, silent walking. Because bless these poor young things who've been totally plugged in their entire lives are learning the benefit of not having a headset on and
mm,
walking, just walking and being present. So it's a bit like you're saying, because meditating makes you do that, and it's quite hard
yes,
to do that initially. So
oh
yeah.
yes, 100%. Yeah,
So you were just
it
being
takes.
bang on trend, you see. You were just silently meditating.
Yeah, that's it. I was there before it became on trend. So but yeah, it's. So I learned about that, and I kept learning about
Mhm.
the law of attraction, and loads of different people would speak on it, and
Mm.
I really started practicing it, and I did that for a whole year,
Mhm.
and it got to so a whole year later, and I thought, yep, I'm at a good point now. I don't need to do any more meditation. I don't need to do any more learning about this. I'm perfectly fine now. 2 weeks
Uh-huh.
later, back to square one, and I was like, oh gosh, how did I get here? And then I realized it's a journey rather than an end destination.
It is, and it never stops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
The
it.
universe went, "Yeah, sure, Isaac, let us show you."
Yeah, yes, yeah,
That's what it does. It's like, I gave you a lesson, you kinda learn it, but you didn't really. So we'll
yeah.
just knock you down a peg, get you learn it again until you can go, "I'm done. I've learnt it. I've got it. I've got it. This is forever." Yeah.
That's, so yeah, I feel
Amazing.
like I'm still on that journey now, and that's why I also learned the importance of honesty, and that's how I
Mm.
come across in my posts on LinkedIn. I like to be honest because it's real. We
Yeah.
all go through ups and downs, but it's also
What was it
giving me
like
an
when you
opportunity to have the perspectives, different, things.
When
But
when
yes,
you went on to the apparently professional social network professional network, it's certainly not social. Um, by the way, I did see it kind of ironically, I did see your post complaining about the impressions.
yes,
I think they make them up anyway because 'cause I'm getting engagement and really low visibility as well, and I'm sure people are seeing it. I see all your posts because it's that typical thing. Because we just connected, I now see constantly all your posts, and who knows what happened to everyone else. But anyway, what was it like when you first went on there and you just opened up and you laid it all out on the table and you just went, "You know, I'm just gonna be real." How did you feel actually the second you hit post? What were you thinking? Did you go,
um,
"Okay, oh my god, I'm
so
telling the world I'm having a shit day. Oh my god."
um, I so well anyway, like to start with. when I heard about LinkedIn, it was always advertised to me as the professional Facebook,
Yeah,
and I thought, oh,
apparently.
why do I need another Facebook for? That doesn't really make any sense.
Mm.
But I started on there to talk about wheels and wheelchairs. That was like the main premise, and I was hoping to potentially get professional people to see what we're doing, sponsors, donations, all that kind of thing. So that was kind of my
Mhm.
first premise when I joined LinkedIn. But
Yeah,
then it was July, and I first heard about July being Disability Pride Month.
yeah.
And I initially thought Disability Pride Month had to do with Pride Month, but it was totally two different things. And when I learned about that, I kind of wrote my own take on it and the
Hmm.
importance of it and how I just learned about it. And I was kind of the first post on any social media of mine which went viral, or
Wow,
semi-viral, where it got 100,000 impressions and many engagements and
that's
those people
amazing.
sharing it. So that was kind of like very overwhelming, but it was also a time where I realized that people wanted to hear my story and what I have to bring to the table. So yeah, it's
You
kind of
actually
like that's
spoke your truth and just people just
yeah,
went, yeah, amazing, isn't it?
yeah, people want to listen to what I had have to say, and that's how I've been able to implement the wheels and wheelchairs and other bits. But I always come from my own perspective.
I quite like that. It's funny because there's so much talk about GPT. And I mean, anyone that knows me, I wrote a book called The Robot Proof Recruiter. So you can imagine what I think of it. But I'm just like, it's not real. It's like the polished PR videos that we had back in the day that nobody believed. Everyone wants the real, like, there's the real you doing this. They can be fun, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but they don't want them so polished they're not believable. And I feel like it's like posts, if you really write it and it's genuinely your emotions that people really resonate with that.
it's true. But I might say something a bit controversial here.
Oh god, don't tell me you use GPT and I've fallen for it. Damn it, I believed all of your posts. I believe them all.
No, so for first 2 years on LinkedIn, well, for majority of time on my LinkedIn, I
Yeah,
wrote the post myself,
yeah,
and they're all generally mine. But per
mm,
post, sometimes it'll take me 30 to 45 minutes per post.
right.
And with everything I'm
Oh,
doing, and
you're
there's a lot, but
cheating now.
no, wait, listen, wait. Let me finish first before you judge.
Oh, the judgment's there. Read this
No.
face.
Yeah. So it's not very sustainable, and there's a lot of things
Yeah,
going on behind the scenes. So what I've been doing now is I have been using ChatGPT, but only as a template that I change
okay.
to my own wording. I don't just use ChatGPT and stick it out because that wouldn't feel right
Mm,
for me to do. But I use it more as a template now, and that 40 minutes has now been cut to 20, 10 minutes now, where I can get my
okay.
thoughts out. But it's just gives me
Currently
saves me
reading
time.
your old posts and seeing if I believe them.
They're all real, trust me. I mean, if you wouldn't know when I started using it or not because I still keep it authentic. So
Yeah, I think that's the really important part. My other concern is, I spoke at We Are Developers, and Tim Berners-Lee spoke. He gave the keynote, and he's saying that our personal information isn't ring fenced. It isn't safe. So, like, if you're putting your intellectual property in there, where's it go? And that's my worry. If it's
yes,
creating, you're using a template and then you're rewording it, maybe that's okay. So
well,
what's
save me a lot of
next?
time.
As you I've seen you've had extraordinary growth on there with your, I mean, so obviously there's people are wanting to hear your story and wanting to hear so that they know what they can do. I mean, I know until I dated a double amputee, until I had that experience, I didn't understand how inaccessible everything was, for example. So is that your plan? Is that your future? Keep using the videos? What's your ultimate dream? What's Isaac 2.2, 2.0?
Oh, it's a good point because there was a stage where, so again, going through this journey,
Mm.
there was a stage where I didn't really have no, sorry, let me start again. There's a point where, sorry, I was thinking of like so many things there.
That's okay.
I I'm now going with the flow,
Mhm,
and allowing me to have a bit more of an open mind about
mhm,
different things. And because of that, I've got involved in things that I never really would think I'd ever get involved in, and I've taken a step to get out of my comfort zone.
mhm.
For example, one being London Fashion Week. Modeling was
Yes, I
never,
saw that.
yes, yeah.
Tell me more. How did that come about?
Well, thanks to LinkedIn, it all happened actually.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I got reached out from adaptive clothing brand Unhidden, and they saw
What
what
did
I
you
was
say?
doing with wheels and wheelchairs, and yeah, it got me to do modeling and adaptive clothing because adaptive
You look
clothing
like you
wasn't.
really, really loved that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean it's a very interesting space to be in.
Yeah.
You learn a lot about the community and the fashion
Mm,
space and how that's not very. I mean, it involves a lot of drama and a lot of craziness behind the scenes, but
yeah.
yeah, I think overall it's something that's worth talking about and really showing because clothing is one of those things where people disputes on how much choice. So,
Mm.
trying to change that narrative is good, but it does come with its craziness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge facade, isn't it? That thinking
Mm,
of earlier when you were talking about the celebrities and thinking that they have these great relationships, when of course they don't. They have ups and downs like everybody does. But
absolutely.
that the
Yes.
facade that's being created. So have you found your inner happy? Or is that a work in progress? Because of course that's the thing that'll make you happy. Inner Isaac.
The inner Isaac.
Inner Isaac.
Uh,
That sounds really cool actually. It should have a hashtag.
I mean, I'm gonna take it,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna paint in it, and it's mine now. So the,
It's some random lady. I
yeah, yeah, um,
think I'm gonna
yeah.
take that one. I like that. I'm gonna work that in there somewhere.
Isaac and his random ladies.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, I can see it now. Bold headlines. No. So what's
exactly.
next? Come on. Tell me what's
Yeah,
next.
yeah. Well, let me answer your first question first.
Uh,
So,
well,
um,
that's gotta be part of it, I think.
yeah. So internal happiness. I mean, yeah, I feel I'm at that point now, and these past couple of days, I've been learning. I've been going back on the track of mind and thoughts and learning about that
Mhm.
again. So it's nice to refresh the yeah, what I've learned before and learn it
Yeah.
again. So yeah, yeah, it's a work in progress, but I feel like I am there, and
It
I'm a lot
it's
more mindful
always
now as well.
I mean, it's always a work in progress. I've done 12 years, I've worked with people for 12 years to overcome my childhood trauma, and I still will catch myself now having a thought pattern, and you're like, "What am I thinking about that for?" Like, rip the handbrake on. Let's just reset that thought pattern, and
Yes,
it takes work.
yes,
It's
it
not
does.
as easy. It's not an easy process, but the fact
It's
you're
not an
doing it
overnight.
is just it's life changing.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Yes, yeah. Totally new perspective on things, and it's really allowed me to, yeah, see things in a whole different light.
yeah, which is cool. So if people wanted to get in touch with you to discover more about you, is there somewhere they go other than LinkedIn, obviously? Do you have a website as well with all the things you
I
told me?
don't, I don't have a website,
Oh,
but I do mainly on LinkedIn. I do have an Instagram, but I don't really post there as much. But you can follow me at I am Isaac Harvey. And Wheels and Wheelchairs is something I'm trying to post more about and what we're doing and
what are you
the
doing?
marathons
Tell
that we
us
do.
more about that.
So we've just taken part in the Berlin Marathon, and we're looking
Oh, so
to,
that's what I saw when
yes,
you're in the wheelchair with all these people on rollerblades. Is that
that's
right?
correct. That's
It
correct.
did
Yeah,
look
yeah.
crazy fun.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. I mean, It's allowed me to skate in Istanbul, Paris. It's just like
Wow.
something I never thought I'd ever get involved in, but it's such a great community to be a part of.
Actually, so when you travel, I can't imagine what Istanbul was like. That must have been challenging. What's the
It,
country that well, actually, what city, if you let's go city, has made it the easiest for you? I bet it's not
the
London.
easiest. Uh,
Yeah.
I, I
To give
mean,
you that
oh, that's
feeling of independence.
definitely London now.
Okay,
London
that's
now is
good.
really good. I mean, I can now go to a train station and they help me onto the train, call a
Mhm.
person ahead, call the station ahead that I'm coming, and then they help me with the lifts and things. So
That's cool.
yeah, London's a lot better than it was. It's still not perfect, but it's come a
No.
long way. It's come a long way, and I'm very
There's
grateful
a lot
for
of
that.
gutters without dishes in them so that you can just wheel off. That was one of the biggest thing I noticed was that when I was dating Swifty, I hadn't clocked that you can't just wheel off. Like,
Mm,
because we don't think about it. That's
exactly.
why
Yeah, yeah,
that's why you have to speak up. It's
yeah.
not fair because the burden should be on us, not on you, but we just don't see it. It's literally just like,
But
yeah,
I also believe, if people don't know something, then they don't know. So
yeah,
that's why it's good to learn these things. And now a quick story. It's just a
yeah,
funny one. In America, so I've been to America a couple of times, and so here in England, we get on the bus and then I just put the chair in the wheelchair space, and then the
mhm,
driver just drives off. When I went to America for the first time, I we were getting this was in Ohio, and
yeah,
we're going to get a bus to from the airport to the main Cincinnati. Um,
yeah,
so we got onto the bus. It was kind of like a really different way of doing it. So it like had a lift up onto the bus, going to the wheelchair space, and the driver comes out of his seat, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, what have I done? What,
Did I do
what?
that wrong? I haven't reversed in right.
But the driver came and he
Yeah.
clamped the chair in and put a belt over me, and I thought, wow, it really keeps the chair safe. And I thought, no way that would happen in London. No one would have the
Nah,
patience to wait for.
hold on, people, hold on.
Yeah.
You can just roll down the aisle. I mean, I reckon London I mean, bless them, what an awful job to drive a bus in London, but I swear they go, "Oh, look, there's someone walking down the stairs. That's a good time to hit the brakes." So there's no way they're gonna care about you and your wheelchair. I swear they do it on purpose because they can see.
Yeah, they can actually, right?
They've gotta have their entertainment because it's such a horrible job, and nobody talks to them. And then if you do, they grunt at you because you talk to them, so it's like you can't win.
I always say
Oh, bless.
thank you.
That's actually yeah, that's really cool they strapped you in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I've never obviously seen before. I thought it was, yeah, really
How do you
cool.
say thank you? What do you do? Roll to the front. How do you
Uh,
say they just ignore you? I've tried. You have to get off the back door.
No, well, what I do is either I shout thank you before I get off, or I go to the front and then just give the driver a nod, and they
Aw.
sometimes acknowledge it.
Okay, I'm gonna try harder. I actually avoid getting on the bus, but I'll try harder. I always have this little moment when the train's coming into the train station, though, sort of like being a bit of an idiot. I always really like waving at the driver. And I just stop myself every time and think, oh, it's just like this inner child comes out and wants to play. Oh, well, thank you so much for all of that. I will
Yes,
put all the links in the podcast notes, etc., and on my website so that we can link to your wheels. Was that wheels for wheelchairs or the other way around?
wheels and wheelchairs.
Wheels and wheelchairs, because that's
Yeah.
really cool. And obviously your LinkedIn profile so everyone can find you. But thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Beyond the Damage of Words. How brave, how vulnerable, all to inspire listeners like you to take a step or inspire others to take a step. Imagine what healing we could create if we normalize this conversation. So please pass this on and, of course, subscribe so we can do just that. Until next time, thank you.